Hello. This is part 4 of my velocity banking journey. My goal is to potentially get on here every 2 weeks to kind of give you an update on how things are going. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have my little notebook. So last time I was on here, which was like almost end of January. And I was hoping that what I would be able to do is to cover my American Express and my Old Navy payment using my car insurance, because I have Geico, and my car insurance is crazy. It's like $450 because I have an electric car. Well, first, I didn't even introduce myself. Hello, my name's Michelle. I am 49. I've been trying to do velocity banking off and on for about 6 months. I'm a part-time reading teacher and part-time real estate investor. My goal eventually is to leave teaching and to be a full-time affordable housing real estate investor. Right now, I have one property that I'm doing rent by the room. My goal is to get possibly a duplex before the end of this year, and to then do Section 8 with that. So that's a little about me. Okay, so back to the payment. So I wanted to do that with Geico. Well, that didn't quite work out for a couple reasons. The first one is Geico does not let you split payments when you're doing, they have like 2 different versions of auto pay, but whatever version I'm on, you can't split it. You have to connect it to just one account. So that didn't work. But the other thing was, which fast forward, y'all, this is so like typical. As soon as I start recording, I can like hear my neighbors and stuff. I don't know if you all can hear them. Hopefully you can't. So what I've had to do is kind of adjust, because since I couldn't do that original payment that I thought I was gonna be able to split, I decided, okay, well, what else could I do? Well, I told you I'm a high school teacher, and one of the kids at my school, not one of my personal students, but one of the students at the school, when she was parking, she hit my baby. And I love my car, and she hit my car. So I went through her insurance. Well, come to find out, I have an electric car, and I did not realize that every time there was an update that it would kind of affect my car. And I'm somebody who, I don't know if you saw my video about like quitting YouTube, but I'm really private, like fiercely private, yet I'm driving around in a Tesla, which I absolutely loved. But I didn't realize quite how much of my data and privacy were being compromised by being in this very high-tech car. So when I went to drop my car off for repairs, I was promptly freaked out when they told me I went to leave, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't leave y'all the key. And they were like, oh, we don't need a key. And I was like, you don't need a key to drive my car? And they were like, no, we don't. And then I guess they could see that I looked a little concerned. And so the lady was like, oh, but don't worry, we can only do it when it's in service mode. But of course I'm looking at her like, yeah, but my car is not in service mode right now. So you're lying, you can drive my car with remote access, which just made me super duper uncomfortable. That was kind of the third strike. No need to go over the other 2, but that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I just felt like, due to privacy and safety issues, once I named her Princess Poppy. So once my Tesla was fixed, that I would go ahead and trade it in and go back to either a Civic, which I love, or an Accord. Well, I went to CarMax, and they did not have any Civics or Accords. So I ended up getting a Corolla. So it was very sad for me this week, very emotional, because I'm serious. Like, I love my car, and I feel like it was worth every last penny that I was paying. However, due to my safety and privacy concerns, I know I'll never have another one, because I know that the technology and the software will just continue to update and probably become more evasive as it goes. And so I just wouldn't be comfortable with that. So I ended up getting a 2023 Corolla. It's a cute little car. I absolutely love it. I have to kind of get used to being in a gas car again. But I've budgeted for that. But the plus side of that, of course, is that my insurance, which was $450, promptly dropped down to like $208. So now my car note, we don't want to, y'all, because I told you my credit is super shaky. I'm hoping at some point to refinance this car loan, because my credit is so shaky. The interest rate is 14%. Is that not insane? It just hurts my heart. But even with that interest rate being that high, my car payment plus my car insurance is about the same amount as I was paying for my car note on the Tesla. So that means technically each month I'm probably going to save close to $400. Once I can refinance and get the car payment lowered, I might even be able to save, like 500, 500 or 600. So anyway, that freed up a lot of money this month that I wasn't expecting. So I kind of had to rework my velocity banking goals because, I was kind of in a different position. So what I've decided to do now is I'm focusing on 2 credit cards, Old Navy and American Express. Those are the 2 I'm doing bill matching. I have Total Rewards, but Total Rewards is the one where I was on a payment plan and it's locked right now. So I can't add anything to it. So that payment is like 160, 165. So I just have to pay that outright. But my Old Navy payment is like 160. And so I was able to cover that this month with my T-Mobile bill, my Spectrum bill, and somehow I got confused with my gas bill. And so I was behind a payment. So I paid that. So then what I did was I ended up making a payment for $290 something on Old Navy. So that covered that payment. Then for American Express, the payment is $231. And now between my, I have some insurance plus my car insurance, it's going to equal pretty close to $231. It's about $225. So that'll cover that. So I think I have my velocity banking goals worked out, because I think I just have to keep this as simple as possible, because we know math is not my thing. So unfortunately I overpaid on my repairs because I didn't go through my insurance, and actually State Farm has been wonderful, but I overpaid when I picked up my car. And so I'm waiting to be reimbursed from them. And I also told you all how I was trying to get a better handle on my spending, because I feel like I have just accounts literally everywhere. And so I'm trying to figure that out. So at least for this month, I'm not going to make, please stop. I knew he was going to do that. Okay, get down, Lovey. This month, I'm not going to make any extra payments because I need to kind of let the dust settle in my accounts and just see, okay, what money is where, because I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but over the last 3 months, actually 4 months, I've gotten those offers in the mail to open a checking account and then you make money for it. So I've probably made close to $1,000 opening checking accounts in the last, 4 or 5 months. But then of course that's complicating my finances, because then it's okay, well, what am I using this one for? What am I using that one for? So I said for the rest of February, I'm just going to let the dust settle. So I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I had encountered some financial blessings. I got some more in the last couple weeks, and that's not including part of the insurance payout was very interesting. It gave me 500 extra for the depreciation of my car as a result of the accident. So I thought that was nice. But anyway, I haven't really touched any of that money because, again, it's in all these kind of weird places. So for the rest of this month, I'm literally just going to be still and just let the dust settle. And then I'll be able to kind of really see what I'm working with, especially since now I have freed up a couple $100s in my budget. I might be able to be a little bit more strategic in paying stuff down. So my goal is still to pay off Old Navy first. So I was able to make an extra $30 payment this month due to my teacher pay teacher store. So it's slowly going. So what I'm doing with that is my expenses with teacher pay teacher are super duper low. So it really cost me maybe $35 because I do Netflix and Disney, because some of my resources are movie guides, and then the rest tend to focus on middle and high school ELA resources. So what I'm doing with that money is when I get it, I'm taking the 35 out, which of course is going to cover the expenses. And then I'm saving whatever's left, half of that. And then the other half I'm putting towards debt. So that's kind of right now, my monthly extra payments. It just kind of depends on how well my store does. But again, so quick recap, I was able to cover both Old Navy and American Express this month. Old Navy was covered with T-Mobile and my internet, and like past due gas bill I didn't even know I had, so I'm glad that cleared up. And then for American Express, it's going to be my car insurance and this other short-term insurance I have. So that'll work that out. And I hope that that's going to help me kind of get in a rhythm, because again, y'all, I know that I'm making this more complicated, but I still don't quite, I'm still not able to like touch the extra payments. You know what I mean? So like, I know that I covered the payments with Old Navy and I covered the payments with American Express, but I still cannot like find that extra $400 in my budget. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. And I think it's partly because I have so many different accounts and so many moving pieces. But the other thing I think I'm doing, and I'm going to kind of toy with that over the next couple weeks, is I think what I'm doing is I'm almost double dipping. And so the money is technically in my account, but I'm like old school. So I write my budget out on paper. On paper, I feel like I'm listing the expenses twice, and that's why I'm not seeing the money. So what that means is I'm listing the T-Mobile and Spectrum is who I have for internet. And then like I'm listing it, I'm adding that into my budget, but then I'm also adding in the actual payment for Old Navy, which means I'm double dipping. So I have to figure out like how to not do that so that I could actually see that money at the end of the month and then redirect it. But I think that's what's messing me up. I think I'm like listing it twice. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Sad. Last time we spoke, I was hoping the Steelers would make it a little deeper into the playoffs, but they didn't. That's okay. So, you know, the best teams, I guess, are there. And so until later, I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. And thank you so much for following along and leaving me your comments and like going on this journey with me. I do have one little kink. It's not a major one, but it's, you know, like so I don't currently have a business credit card. So I was using my Capital One account for that. And my limit on that was like 5,000. Well, I had to put some business expenses on there and they totaled about 2,000. Well, how about this? I want to say earlier this week, Capital One lowered my limit. So now I don't have 5,000 as the limit anymore. It's 3,000. But, you know, such is life. It's not horrible because I'm literally just using that account for business expenses. It does kind of mess up, of course, my credit utilization now, because having $2,000 worth of utilization, you know, debt on 3,000 is a little more than, of course, if it was 2,000 on a $5,000 limit, but oh well. So I didn't get too frustrated with that because, like I said, I'll use just the business income to pay that down eventually, or kind of slowly. And I'm using slightly velocity banking with that. I'm covering, I offer my tenants in my rent by the room free Wi-Fi. So I'm kind of covering my Wi-Fi payment with Capital One. So it's kind of balancing out anyway, but I'm also able just to pay a little bit more on that. So again, thank you. And it's working slowly. Hopefully by the next time I get on here in 2 weeks, I'll be able to like see where that money is, and also give you an update on how much extra I was able to pay towards that in February using the velocity banking method. Alrighty, until later, be grateful. Bye-bye.